I could see him strutting up and down, but just the direction he gobbles. If he's gobbling in my face and towards me, he sounds so much closer. He turns around and he's gobbling the other direction, and he sounds like he's another 200, 300 yards away. So it can be extremely difficult. And then you add in wind, you add in vegetation to try to, I don't know, it's something that I'm not good at, but it takes just a ton of years of experience knowing where these turkeys are at. And then if they do gobble, then say, okay, how far away is he? Because the wind's in my face or the wind's to my back, that can play a role. Vegetation plays a role. And it could be wind, could be rain, could be 100 different things. And
Totally.
you're running over them, like you said.
I mean, you hit on a really good one there, wind direction. Like that is something that I think a lot of people overlook. But like, what way is that wind going from the turkey to you? Is it vice versa? That is going to make a huge difference. And like a really cool thing that we did back in back when I worked at Midwest Whitetail, we had a show called Cabela's Spring Thunder that Warb hosted. And he did this thing where like we got on opposite ridges. We were maybe like 150 yards away with a valley in between us. And he got up on that opposite ridge, faced us, and then he hit his slate call as hard as he could with that slate call facing right at us. Then he turned away and did the same thing, casting that sound back out behind. And it was unbelievable, the difference of that slate call. And a slate call is going to be way louder, or like any pot call, you can really like overemphasize the volume on that. So that was a pretty telling, like test, quote unquote. And then the other thing is like, what is that terrain doing? Like, is there dips and valleys in it? Is it just straight flat terrain? Is the bird above you, below you? Like, what are all these things that are kind of working out? If a bird is above you, I always feel that they're generally louder than if they're below you.
Yeah.
And the reason there is like, it's just casting out into wide open nothingness, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you don't have that tree cover up above, obviously that hill's dropping off, versus if that sound is competing coming up a gully or up a valley, and all this understory to get to you, and you're maybe 500, 800 feet above it, like that sound takes a lot of stuff that it's got to get through to get to you. So I would always index on, that bird might be a little bit closer than it sounds.
So how have you learned how to close the gap in those scenarios where, we threw out there a whole bunch of different scenarios about
Yeah.
when a tom is responding to your calls, and maybe he's not coming in, or you don't know if he's coming in, because
Yeah.
maybe his first gobble's away and his second gobble's towards, and you're like, okay, well, he's coming my way, but he's not coming your way. He's staying still. So what have you learned to get yourself throughout these scenarios closer to them?
Yeah, so a couple things. One is like if I can get that bird to shock gobble on anything other than a turkey call, that is always preferred. And I know that that's probably such a like basic tip, but it is something that like I catch myself. It's the easy button to just pull out I have a go-to slate call that, I think sounds really good. I can cut on it really loud and I can cover a lot of ground. So that's the easy button for me to do that. But if I can get a bird to respond to like an owl hoot, a crow call, something like that, I would much rather that, because then I can keep that bird gobbling, close my distance, and then I'm really calculated on when I make that first call to him. Like I might sit there for like 5 minutes in a little like 15 by 15 yard radius of like looking at trees, looking at potential setups, and trying to figure out where I want that first sound to come from. Because a lot of times, especially once you know, get inside their bubble, they will come to that first place that you call to them from. So like I will intentionally find like a open spot on a ridge right before I make that final setup, and that's where I'll call from, and then I'll scurry back 20 yards, get into my setup, and then I'm anticipating that bird coming to that initial place that I called from.